What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're doing another Gems of the GBA episode, and this time we're grouping together Pokémon FireRed and LeafGreen for the Game Boy Advance. So getting into it, Pokémon FireRed and LeafGreen are my favorite Pokemon games of all time, and I know that's not a popular opinion. I've heard that some people actually don't like these games and think they're not of a great remake, but personally, they are my favorite Pokemon games in the entire series. So of course, as I do with every single Gems of the GBA episode, I always show the opening scene, if a game has one, which a lot of Game Boy Advance games had an opening little cutscene as you got in them, which was really cool. And of course, they did a remake of the Nidorino versus Gengar opening scene from original Pokemon Red and Blue version. So just seeing this whole opening scene and everything is so nostalgic. I absolutely love these games. They're fantastic remakes. And for my own personal opinion, I don't know what it is. Maybe I just love 16-bit artwork and Game Boy Advance type graphics and everything. You know, SNES graphics, that classic 16-bit graphics. I just love all the sprites in these games. I think they did a phenomenal job with all the sprites for all the Pokemon, and how they did a phenomenal job with all the character models and everything. Everything in this game, in these games, both versions, just looks fantastic. So here I show the entire map of the whole game. Of course, it's the exact same as Red and Blue. You're in the Kanto region. So you start out in Pallet Town and then you end off at the Indigo Plateau. But in these games, and I think why I love them so much, is the fact that they added in the Sevi Islands, which is my favorite post-game adventure out of any of the Pokemon games. I absolutely love the Sevi Islands. I thought they were a fantastic post-game addition into these games, and I really wish they would have brought them back in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, but unfortunately they didn't. And I think that kind of was something that was missing from those games, but those games were also really good remakes of the Kanto region games, Red and Blue. But I just think the Sevi Islands were just amazing. I thought it was a really cool addition into Pokemon FireRed and LeafGreen. And of course, with the Sevi Islands, they even added in a bunch of Johto Pokemon and that you could capture as well in the after game. There was, I believe, some Hoenn Pokemon, but not as much. That was basically just you could trade them over from your Ruby and Sapphire or Emerald cartridges and get some Hoenn Pokemon over that way. But I know there was quite a few Johto Pokemon that were brought over into the Sevi Islands and made catchable in the Sevi Islands, which was really cool. And a lot of the music was actually remade from the Johto region games, Gold, Silver, and Crystal on the Game Boy Color. So that was really cool as well. I always loved all the music and everything of the Sevi Islands. To me, it's such a great post game, and for me, FireRed and LeafGreen, I replayed them so many times, too many to even count. I just love these games, and they have so much replayability in my mind. They're just so nostalgic, and I think it's definitely partially because FireRed, LeafGreen, Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, the whole third generation lineup of Pokemon games were the ones I grew up with, as I grew up with the Game Boy Advance. So there's definitely some bias there with my nostalgic feelings I have towards these games and Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald as well. So for gameplay's sake, I wanted to get some footage of the champion battle, so I went through the entire Elite Four again on this cartridge. Of course, I'd beaten everything in the post game as well, so it's the second match versus Blue, but of course I named him Green in this cartridge. I think it was just one of the default names I had chosen, but his real name is actually Blue. So I just decided to get some footage here, and I love Blue and Red as characters. They are phenomenal characters to have in Pokemon games, and they're my favorite characters in the entire series. I mean, when you go up against Red and Gold, Silver, Crystal, or Heart Gold and Soul Silver at the very end of the game, that was just I remember as a kid just being such a crazy epic battle to have against Red. He's just on top of Mount Silver, hanging out in the cold, in the snow and everything by himself, and then there he is, the strongest trainer in the whole game. And I just absolutely love that. I thought it was so cool when I was a kid growing up playing those games as well. So it was just super, super awesome to play through that, and super nostalgic to look back on now. And I still love Red and Blue as characters. They're just two of my favorites in the entire series. But personally, in my opinion, I mean, there's nothing that beats these games, or just any of the Kanto region games, from the gym leaders to, your main characters in the game. Like Professor Oak is just classic, right? He's the best professor in my opinion. And then, I mean, you got so many of the best gym leaders out there: Brock, Misty, Lieutenant Surge, Sabrina, Erica. They're all just so nostalgic and so cool to look back on. And then you got Giovanni, Team Rocket's leader, but then he turns out to be the last gym leader as well. And I also really liked that they added in the Sevi Islands. They added in a little backstory into Team Rocket as well. So that's a really cool feature they added into the Sevi Islands post game, which I thought was really awesome with this game as well. They added some backstory into Team Rocket. So for those of you that haven't played these games before, I don't want to spoil it for you, but it's really cool to play through the post game and find out what that backstory is. And of course, I cannot finish off this video without talking about the music in these games. Man, the music in FireRed and LeafGreen, as well as Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, I just think they absolutely killed it with the entire game's soundtrack. The champion themes in both FireRed, LeafGreen, and then also the Hoenn games, they just killed it with the champion themes. I absolutely love the Blues champion theme and Wallace and Stevens theme. I think just fantastic. They did everything right when it came to the music, from the trainer battles to the route themes to the Elite Four themes to the champion themes. They just did it right, and everything sounds amazing. And all the Game Boy Advance Pokemon games, the whole soundtrack just sounds amazing. And this champion theme I absolutely love. But yeah, that's about all the good things. I mean, I can ramble on about these games forever. They're just fantastic. So I'm gonna end the video here. But yeah, Pokemon FireRed and LeafGreen, if you haven't played them already, highly recommend you do so. Of course, these GBA Pokemon games, authentic copies, have gone so crazy in price. So the only other cheaper alternative is to get a bootlegged fake copy or to emulate. But unfortunately, it seems like all the old Pokemon games, Pokemon cards, everything has just gone crazy over the past 5 years or so. So it's very hard to get your hands on some copies of these games now, but I highly recommend you play them however you can. And also, I would love to hear from you guys. What are your favorite Pokemon games? Comment down in the comment section your favorite Pokemon games and some of your fond memories with them. If you love the third generation games, let me know, and let me know why you love them. Personally, for me, it's what I grew up with, and seeing these sprites and everything, playing them on the Game Boy Advance, it's just all brings up so much nostalgic feelings, and I just love the whole look of these games. I think the sprites are what does it for me. The Pokemon sprites themselves, as well as the story. I mean, it's just all amazing. I absolutely love all the sprites and everything. The 16-bit artwork I just love. So that's probably what does it for me. But without further ado, I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. And if you did, please leave a like, subscribe for more, and I'll see you all in the next one.